Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles Thirshade Gaming and I've got another Ninth Age battle report. This is a 6,000 point game that I played with a Highborn Elf player. We played the multiple objectives. This is a kind of a fun casual game that we played honestly a couple months ago now. This is my 6,000 point Ogre cons list. I sort of took the opportunity, like played 4 or 5 games of Ogre cons, and I thought it'd be fun to just sort of take a couple different things than what I've taken before, and also to just kind of go wild like the characters. So I spared no expense on the characters, as you can see, is they're totally all decked out. So we've got a great con general. He's got a great weapon. He's wearing heavy armor. He's got an ogre crossbow, the rotten jaw, big name, death cheater, and Kagadai's legacy. So he's really good at killing big things. Then I've got a Khan BSB who's got the brace pistols. He's the cult leader for that 18-inch BSB. He's also got heavy armor, Aether Icon, Talisman Shielding, and the Viper's Curse. Then I've got another shaman with Gut Roar, Iron Fist, Light Armor, Thaumaturgy. He's a Wizard Master with Karkadan's Resilience. He's got the Ritual Bloodletter for his Iron Fist, the Rod of Battle, and Magical Heirloom. And then I've got 34 Scraplings with bows and full command. I've got 12 Tribesmen with full command Iron Fists, and they've got that Pendant of the Great Grass Sky. I also have 5 Tribesmen with champion full command the Skull Quinhet, and that's it. And then I've got 3 Kin Eaters, 2 Saber-Tooth Tigers chilling together, 4 Tusker Cav with paired weapons, banner, speed, full command, 4 Bombardiers with a musician, a Scratapult, a Thunder Cannon, a Rock with a lance, and then a Slave Giant with a gray weapon. That's my 6,000 point Ogre Cons list. Then my opponent, playing Highborn Elves, this is his 6,000 list. So he's got a High Prince who's the Master of Cranic Tower with the Spear and the Book of Arcane Mastery. Then he's got another mage who's a Wizard Master. So I think he had like 9 spells. He's got the Amethyst Crystal, the Crystal Ball, and the Order of the Fiery Heart running Alchemy. Then he's got a Commander on a Griffin with a Shield, Dragonforged Armor, a Lance, and the Diadem of Protection. He's got a Commander on an Elven Horse with Battle Standard Bearer, Heavy Armor with the Ghostly Guard, Titanic Might, and he's a Queen's Cavalier. And then he's got 2 Commanders on Reaver Chariots with both Shield, Dragonforged Armor, and Lance. Then he's got 9 Highborn Lancers with full command and the War Banner of Rima. Then he's got 25 Citizen Spears with full command and the Flaming Banner. 13 Citizen Archers with the Standard Bearer, Aether Icon, and Musician. 2 things of 5 Reavers. 19 Lion Guard with the Banner of Becalming, full command. 24 Sword Masters, full command, Aether Icon. 2 things, or I think two single Reaver Chariots, 2 Bolt Throwers, and then Fire Phoenix. So yeah, he's got like tons of magic. He's got this whole setup that's like anti-magic with like lots of ability to dispel. And then you can see he's got Aether Icons over the list. So yeah, interesting list. Definitely lots of stuff too. So many characters. We played Frontline Clash. This was the map pack we picked out. As you can see, it's been faithfully recreated on the board. And then we played multiple objectives. So my opponent had the pink ones, I had the yellow ones. And we just, we rolled the dice for these and just randomly generated them. So my opponent's ones, so we'll go through his first and then we'll go through mine. So my opponent has, there can only be one, which is you must have exactly 1 character alive at the end of the game. Generate another task if you only have a single character, which as you can just see, my opponent has tons of characters. He was pretty upset he got this one. And then he also got Steal Their Land, which is you must have at least 1 scoring unit inside the enemy deployment zone at the start of any of your first 4 player turns. Units that use special deployment are ignored for this. So This one we both rolled up, as you can see. So before turn 5, we have to have a scoring unit in the deployment zone. And then he also rolled up honor is everything, which is you may never declare a flee charge reaction, which is also really tough because Highborn Elves are really good at fleeing and being able to rally with that martial discipline. So for my objectives that I need to do this turn is many spies have many eyes. All enemy units with scout must be removed as casualties in the game. If there are no units with scout in your opponent's army list, all units with vanguard must be removed as casualties by the end of the game instead. So my opponent didn't have any scouts, but he did have 2 units with vanguard, his 2 reaver units. So those were one of my targets this game. I also had to steal their land objective, so I had to get one of my ogre units, one of my or scoring ogre units into the deployment zone before turn 5. And then I had Dominion, which is you must have more scoring units within 6 inches of the center of the board than your opponent at the end of the game. So that means I also want to have something close to the middle to sort of be there by, turn 6. Just a kind of close up. It's a little bit hard to read those from afar. And this is the start of deployment. So I got to, I did not pick table sides, so I got to deploy first, and I just deployed my whole army because there was so much stuff. I didn't really know what to do with it all. So on my, this is my right flank, but going from the left to the right, I've got my giant with gray weapon next to my bombardiers and my tuskers and my dog chaff, kitty chaff, sorry. And then that handgunner unit is proxying for the scraplings with bows. And then I have my big tribesman unit with my Great Khan in there. I've got my Thunder Cannon and my Stratapult nearby. And then I've got my BSB and my Shaman in the unit of 5 tribesmen. And my Rockarog holding down my my right here. Really left, but the right in this picture. So looking at spells, I chose Thaumaturgy for my path, and I had Wrath of God, Trial of Faith, Cleansing Fire, and Smite the Unbeliever. And then I also picked up Children of Umi and the Rod of Battle. These are my 3 undeployed Kin Eaters. They're going to come ambushing on turn 2. Hopefully they're all going to come on because I paid for that upgrade on the Great Khan. And this is my opponent's Prince with the Spear and the Master Craning Tower. So he has Favor of Miladies, Awaken the Beast, Raven's Wing, Altered Sight, and Healing Water. So 5 great spells. And then his Alchemy Wizard has Quicksilver Lash, Glory Gold, Word of Iron, and Silver Spike. Also great spells. Starting from my opponent's left, going to the right, he's got his 25 spears. He's got one of his Reaver Chariots with one of his Reaver Chariot heroes. He's got his 9 Lancers with his Commander hero with like the Titanic Might Halberd. He's got 5 of his Reavers. He's got a Bolt Thrower in the Runes, kind of funnily placed in that building. And then he's got his Archers with his Wizard Master of Alchemy. Then he's got 2 other Reaver Chariots, one of the hero, one's normal, in front of the Sword Masters, and there's a Bolt Thrower behind them. Then he's got 5 more Reavers hanging on the back of the board. He's got a Phoenix behind the hill, and then he's got his 19 White Lions with his Prince. And then he's got his Commander, who is going to fall over the whole game because he's on a 40, not a 50, so he's going to keep toppling over. But he's got his hero on a Griffin over there, or his last commander. Got another shot of his whole battle line, as much as I could in one picture. And here's a shot of just about everything. Just barely don't have all those spears. 6,000 points. It's funny. It seemed bigger, but also at the same time didn't. It's weird. It's like you just have more on your units, especially with the way I bought everything. And I had turn 1, so I honestly don't think I moved all that much, so we went right into the magic phase. Say I got a 1 extra bail token. I think I'm actually saving 3. I threw Smite the Unbeliever on these guys to reduce their resilience, mostly because I wanted to shoot them with my Viper's Curse, maybe cause a panic test. Which I do, and I killed 2, but they don't panic, so that was a bummer. And then I want to say I tried for Wrath of the Gods and I failed, and that was about it. So I shot over here with my bombardiers and I killed 2 white lions. Not too terrible. And then my Scratapult hit and killed 2 dudes over here, so not too bad either. And I want to say these are the Scrappling Bows doing a wound on the normal Reaver Chariot, so that was also nice. And I want to say my cannon didn't do anything. So, as you can see, this is my opponent's turn 1. So he chaffs me on the left flank, chaffing both my Rock and my 5 tribesmen, which was unfortunate. Thankfully, he was reluctant to commit all of his chaff, because if he loses the Reavers, I get an objective point, which can help me win the overall objective. He moves up in the middle with his Swordmasters. He moves up with his White Lions a little bit. He moves up with his Phoenix and his commander on the Griffin. And then he sort of just positions his chariots in ways in which he will be able to sort of protect the bolt throwers as much as possible. If some Kin Eaters happen to pop up. He gets Flux card 2. He's able to get Healing Waters off on these guys. And I want to say he tosses a Silver Spike at the cannon and only does 1 wound, so not all too bad. I lose some Scraplings, which is a devastating loss. And then this is kind of the end of turn 1. Kind of a nice overview of the board, what's died and what's still alive. So going to Ogre Khan's turn 2, I want to say I tried not to charge here, and I actually failed it on the maximized roll with the BSB nearby. So that was a bit of a bummer, but because I could have almost just scooched back and again tried the same combination of let me just shoot you with my pistols or throw a magic missile at you or use the breath weapon, whatever. I had options, but unfortunately, I had to charge in, so that changed some of my plans. I do get a Wrath of the Gods down, and this is actually just in front of that combat where the Knights and the Chariot are going to go by. So I'm kind of hoping for that to come down on the next turn when my opponent charges into the Rock. Maybe weaken him up a little bit before he gets to go. There's another picture of that. And I also got the Children of Umi off on the Rock too. So kind of really focused my magic on that corner because there was quite a bit going on. So I want to say this was me just doing some more damage to the Knights, which was pretty good. You can see a couple models disappear, which is very good. I can't remember if that was the Scratapult or the BSB. Either way, I'm grateful for it. And yep, this is the Rock doing what it does and blowing through those pesky Reavers. And this is Highborn Elves turn 2. This is kind of the whole main focus of the game. I want to say I did some other positioning, but I didn't really capture it well with the photos, so we're kind of just focusing on over here. Don't worry, we'll get to the other side of the battlefield. So you can see on Highborn Elves turn 2, my opponent charged the Rock, and he also charged a Reaver Chariot. He backed it up into the Scraplings right here, which is okay. And that's right. And then, as you can see, my giant is in a different spot. He kind of moved to get in the flank of the White Lions, and my opponent was able to see him with his commander, and I was kind of okay with that. I figured, I'm strike 7. I'm gonna do wounds to him, and he's light troops. I'm steadfast. I think I'll be able to stick around. So he does decide to bring his commander in here, which again I'm okay with that. And I think 2 out of my 3 Kin Eaters came on, which was a little bit frustrating. I probably needed them all to come on the turn 2 to be as effective as they were, but they do come on. He charges with this chariot in the rear of this guy. I mean, he's unbreakable. I'm honestly, I'm like, I might even just kill the chariot before it gets to go. It's a little bit unlikely, but I mean, I have hatred and I'm strength 5, so I decide just to let him charge in because at the very least, we're in combat and I'll be able to kill him. And if not, and if I get lucky and get rid of it, I'll be able to do what I wanted to do anyway. So he's just waiting for combat now. And then my opponent moved his Phoenix back. This is not the this is a Frost Phoenix. Yeah, so no, it is a Flame Phoenix. That's right. Yeah, yeah, it is a Flame Phoenix because it has a flaming attacks, which is bad for the Fortitude. I want to say he does a wound to me, and you can't see the magnet on the base. Yeah, so he does do a wound to me with his flyover, which was a little annoying, and then he blocks my charge into the bolt thrower. Yes, and here we are, kind of with the rest of the movement from the Highborn Elves. You can see the spearmen are trying to focus back towards the center now that he was pretty confident he was going to be able to beat the Rock with his chariot and with his knights. And he's kind of moves in the center with his sword masters and his archers. And he's got just his other bolt throwers, and he's blocking and tying up my keen eaters that I've popped on the board. And those white lions are starting to get close. My opponent got Flex Card 6. He's able to toss another Silver Spike, and unfortunately this time he gets 3 wounds, which really stunk because he was able to finish it off with a Bolt Thrower. He tosses Altered Sight on my Giant to make me hit on 5s, which was also quite good for him. And then yeah, I want to say this is the bolt thrower taking out the cannon, which stunk because again the cannons are just nice. I lose an ogre in this unit from something, either archers or a bolt thrower. Oh, and this is the Wrath of the Gods, not coming down this turn, so that was a bit of a bummer too. Because actually, as you can see, even those spearmen got close, and that could have been very nice. This guy does 3 wounds to me. I do 1 wound to him, and thankfully I passed my steadfast test, so we're gonna keep duking it out. My kin eater over here just brushes off the chariot, no problem. I don't even know if I take any damage from it, but either way, I'm still alive, which is great because now I can go after that bolt thrower. And this was a big combat right here. So this is my opponent going in and doing all the damage he could. Children of Umi really stopped him from really being able to do anything. Even his guy winning on 2s normally. Or no, strength 7 winning on 3s went to 4s with his Titanic Might. Or no, he's strength 8 when he charges, I think. Yeah, he went from 2s to 3s and he rolled not so well. And thankfully I passed I think a couple armor saves even against the strength 5 guys. So yeah, it was definitely not as much as he wanted at all. And I strike back and my rock just turns up, and I'm able to not only be steadfast still, but I'm able to stick around. And now, I mean, ooh, big turnaround here right there. Loved it. Uh, I think I just lose my Scrappling Foreman, but I hold, so I'm not too worried. I give myself some ranks, and I'll just see if that ever goes anywhere. It's not a rear, it's a front, but the rear of the chariot is in the Scrapplings. It's just some of my opponent's models are overhanging on its bases. Very dynamic, but overhanging. So, OgreCon's turn 3 now. I charge into his Reaver Chariot Hero in the flank here, which is nice. Or I guess it's front. I guess he was able to try and make it a front or whatever. And yeah, that's great. I'm gonna be able to possibly save the Rock. At the very least, I'll get this hero, and maybe if the Rock dies, we'll see what happens. But either way, I'm just happy to be able to take that charge. I move up my big unit ogres pretty aggressively. I was trying to think about how I need to get my opponent's deployment zone, and I'm thinking about wanting to make a charge and possibly overrun so I can be there by the end of turn 4 with one of my scoring units. So yeah, that's what I was sort of doing there. As you can see, I really didn't have all that much other movement on turn 3. My Scratapult was already in range of the Spearmen. My Bombardiers were in range of the White Lions. I was able to chaff with those dogs. I just moved my Tusker Cav back to a suitable spot where I couldn't be charged and where I could charge my opponent next turn. Trying to whittle him down to where it's possible for me to go in there with those impact hits, because before I do that, it's a suicide thing going into White Lions with Tusker Cav. They'll just chop me up. So, and I did decide to charge my Kin Eater that was blocked by the Bolt Thrower into the Flame Phoenix. I believe we struck Simo, and I believe it only had 1 or 2 wounds left, and I was hoping we could kill each other. So that's why I did that, even though I wasn't going to get a Fortitude test. And I believe my other King Eater comes on the board, and I just pop him over here. I figure I can beat up that Chariot, get the points, and then try and go after the other Bolt Thrower on the other side of the board. So I was okay with that. The Wrath of the God does come down now. It kills 6 Spearmen, and it kills the 2 other Cav, which was big because it actually got rid of the unit, which was nice. And it did a wound to the hero, so all really good stuff. And it didn't hit the Rock, which was crazy too. So that was a very divine, beautiful blessing from the god. And I hit these guys also with the Stratapult, do some more damage. So Stratapult OP. And over here you can see I kill another 4 White Lions, so that's looking quite nice too. And oh, I killed that. Oh, you know what? I think I don't know how I killed that Chariot. Oh, you know what happened? I killed the Bolt Thrower and the Chariot panicked, and then I tried to overrun the archers with one of the Kin Eaters, but I was an inch short, unfortunately, because that would have been really sweet to tie up that Alchemy Mage and kind of shut down a little bit of his magic. But even so, just getting rid of that Bolt Thrower was handy. This guy, unfortunately, just has no problem killing the Kin Eater, so he just turns around. And then in this combat, this guy is not dead. We both did a wound to each other. He's just tipped over. He just could not stay up. He just kept tipping over. He just fell over left and right, and we just sort of left him there. As you can see, though, our wounds are being appropriately marked, though. In this combat, my BSB just kind of goes actually into a challenge with his commander, which I was well equipped to do some wounds to him. I didn't kill him outright, but I did 2 wounds. And then we go into the combat with the Rock, and unfortunately the commander is able to kill the Rock this time with his Titanic Might, and we do get to overrun the Chariot, and we just go right into this guy. So not too bad, because we'll be able to clean up this side of the board with this unit. And the White Lions decide to just kind of eat the chaff. At this point, they kind of, I think they weren't really feeling that there was another option. So, which I mean wasn't. They're just getting shot. So, and this is a great picture of my opponent's grief. I want to say this is a failed panic test. But I can't remember what for, but I remember it was bad. Either way, here we are. Yeah. I know I want to say this is still Highborn Elves. Huh. I don't know what that was capturing. It was good though, wasn't it? There was a lot of emotion in that picture. If it's important, we'll figure it out. So as you can see, my opponent has, I want to say he had to flee with his archers the previous turn from my big unit of tribesmen because he didn't want me to get into his deployment zone, which is very smart. And he moved his mage out the turn previously because he's trying to join those archers, or the spearmen actually. And yeah, the scraplings are still in combat with the Chariot. Just kind of, honestly, just kind of kills a couple every time, passes a panic test, and just carries on. My opponent got Flux card 1. Very blurry picture, sorry about that. He's able to get Altered Sight off the Giant again. And he's able to get Silver Spike off. Not all too crazy, and I ended up getting Children of Umi off, I want to say my turn previously. Take some wounds to shooting, or maybe that's the silver spike. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what that is also actually? This might be moving into my turn. Sorry, folks. Uh, yeah, that is definitely silver spike. Definitely losing ogres to some kind of damage. I want to say this may have also been putting down a Wrath of God because I wanted to get rid of this chariot, and I felt like I didn't have any other way to do it. And I want to say I put that down there, and I don't know if it mattered now or if it matters later. The White Lions have no problems killing the dogs. The Phoenix. Phoenix is doing something. We kill his hero. We turn around to face these guys. And here we are. This is going into, I want to say, Highborn Elves turn 4. Or that's either at the end of turn 4. This is the start of OgreCon's turn 4 probably actually. Sorry, this game was 2 months ago, so it's a little hazy exactly what happened with everything. But at this point, my giant actually was triumphant and killed his commander. The commander kept kind of plucking a wound off like every other turn, and I had 2 wounds left, and my opponent was dreading the fact that he was like, I'm gonna only do 1 wound, and this guy's gonna kill me. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm like, it's taking you so long to kill this giant. There's no way you're not gonna do the last 2 wounds to this guy. There's no way you're gonna leave me with all 6 wounds on him to give me 11 strength 7 attacks to finish off your guy. That's exactly what my opponent did for me. And the giant has 6 wounds on him, but I figure let me toss him to the White Lions, get those impact hits, get like 5d3 impact hits, and maybe with all that and my grind and my stomps and everything, I'll be able to beat up on these White Lions this turn. So we charge these guys. I charge the Kin Eater again at this guy, mostly because, again, those archers are fleeing. So my hope is to get this guy with, I mean, have 4 strength 5 attacks. So I'm hoping to maybe be able to kill this dude and then overrun into the, and kill him before he gets to do his grinding attacks, was what I was hoping. And then get to go into those archers and get those points. This combat goes very well over here. And impact hits. I actually want to say this is impact hits, and then the Spear Boy goes and kills the giant. The White Lions go, and I think they only do 2 wounds, or no, they do maybe 4 wounds to me. They still rolled really poorly, and we're able to kill everybody, run down the prince, and we end up right there. So big turnaround right there. That was really awesome. And this is now going into probably Highborn Elves turn 4. And the Swordmasters are charging, the Wizard Master is charging, and the Spear Elves are charging. So we got a lot of people charging. Only the Wizard Master and the Swordmasters make it in. He gets Magic Card 5. This is another picture from his side of the battlefield. Just kind of another different look at what's going on. He's able to get Silver Spike off in combat, which we kind of retroactively realized wasn't possible. I don't believe it ended up really doing all that much, so I didn't really mind. And he gets Word of Iron off on his unit right there, so that's good. Alright, this Bolt Thrower shoots and does a wound to these guys, so thankfully they didn't have to take a panic test. Combat just did not go very well. Even with Children Umi up, the Swordmasters really punched hard. And I feel like I just rolled really poorly. I mean, I feel like I wasn't set up to roll well with the way I was. And the Great Khan was not so great because Swordmasters are not his enemy with a great weapon that just does D3 wounds. So I think he killed like 1 or maybe 2. Unfortunately, we couldn't even get the Wizard on the flank, who I want to say my opponent charged him mostly because he wanted the dual option, or maybe it was the flank or something, or maybe because he was thinking he could do more damage spells in the combat. But yeah, I can't remember exactly why he charged him in there, but he's there. He went into combat. Unfortunately, break and get run down, and I believe this is the turn randomly when the scraplings break the chariot and don't run it down, but it flees to be right there. And this is also the next turn where the Swordmasters flee. And I want to say they flee from somebody dying. But I can't remember what. I'm sorry, this is so anticlimactic, but I know they're fleeing in this picture here. And it was quite surprising why they fled. Because it wasn't the ogres charging. It might be when this wizard dies. Because I want to say I took a movement picture to show where I moved up. Kind of a battlefield picture. Another movement picture. And then I did Trial of Faith and I was able to kill his wizard. I want to say that's what panicked the Swordmasters. And this is all just a little bit out of order. And I tried killing this thing. I tried doing Smite the Unbeliever to kill it, and I think I do end up getting it with my my Bombardiers, which you can see it's gone, but we left its wound markers there, so we know where it might come back. The archers have rallied. The Keen Eater was killed the last turn. Phoenix had no problem killing the Keen Eater again. And yes, the chariot rallies. These guys, I think, take some archer shots, but they're still alive. And yeah, we are. This is Highborn Elves. Oh, you know what? They probably got hit by the Scratapult, actually. Because Scratapults are OP. I was trying to panic them with the Scratapult. That's what it was on the Reavers. Okay, and then, yeah, so this is, I think, just an end of turn picture. Because this is Highborn Elves turn 5, showing that the Phoenix did not come back. These guys somehow continued to flee, unbelievably so, and end up right in front of the Bombardiers to have a sort of a juicy charge. And this is now going into OgreCon's turn 5, or possibly even turn 6. Basically, yeah, this is OgreCon's turn 6 when I'm able to use the Bombardiers to get rid of the Swordmasters by charging them and then catching them. I move my scoring units within close enough of the center of the board for the objective. And I moved my BSB out of my kind of bunker unit to try and get rid of those two other Vanguard boys, the Reavers, up on the top corner up there, who are still alive, just barely. And my Scratapult's still chilling back there, just doing what it does. And then my opponent's turn 6, he is able to charge with his chariot into the Scraplings. I want to say there is a Wrath of the Gods down that doesn't end up doing anything. It just accumulates points. I lose the Scraplings. And actually, I want to say my opponent contests the center of the board against me, and I don't get the Reavers. And the Tusker Cav kill the Bolt Thrower. And this is the end of the game. The things that are alive is the Scratapult, the Reaver Chariot, the Bombardiers, the BSB, the Shaman, the 5 Tribesmen, and my opponent has his Spearmen still alive. They're kind of at half strength. He's got his Archers alive, and that's it. And that's right, and his 2 Reavers. His 2 Reavers, I couldn't kill him with my BSB. I just couldn't hit, or I couldn't wound. So let's figure out what this game ended up as. This game ends up being a 10-10 draw. A 13-7 on victory points, as I did have significantly more than my opponent left at the end of the game. You know, he only had his Spearmen, his 1 Hero Chariot, and his Archers left, and his Reavers left on the board. I had 2 of my characters. I had my Tuskers, I had my Bombardiers, I had 1 of my core units, so I did have significantly more points than my opponent. However, my opponent won the objective because he was able to barely get one of his score units into my deployment zone when he had his cavalry charge my Tusker, and he also was able to only have one character alive at the end of the game. Whereas I wasn't able to get the center of the board, and I wasn't able to get his vanguard units. And I did not get him one of my units into his deployment zone before turn 5, and but my opponent did flee, so he ended up winning 2-0 on the objective, multiple objectives, winning the whole objective, bringing it to a satisfying 10-10 conclusion. I want to thank everybody for watching. This video is definitely a bit more sloppy than my my other ones, but it's kind of a bit more of a casual game, so don't really worry about the turn order or what's happening. Just enjoy the chaos that comes. We'll see you all soon with another battle report. Thanks all for watching, everybody.